Hold on. Good evening. Yes, this is not a hoax. This is your boy Chapapa back in the building. Back in the building. I know you guys are like, wait. I know y'all getting the notifications from YouTube. Like, hold up, Chapapa TV live stream. What's going on? What's going on, YouTube? How is everybody doing out there? What's going on? Queen 718 in the building. First in the building. What's going on with you? What's up, Chapapa? When DR? Yo, crazy enough, I'm actually gonna be in DR this week. I'm flying out there this week. I'm gonna handle some stuff. And yeah, so great question. Let me know if you guys hear me clear enough. It's been a minute since I've done this live stream thing, but I finally got my streaming situation taken care of. And you already know. Ricky, my guy, great to see you here. Thank you for having me. Thank you. I appreciate you. Ra, what's going on? Shout out to Ra. Shout out to Ricky. Usual suspects in the building. What's going on? Yes, your boy Chapapa is still out here in Brazil. Still out here. That ain't changed. In the lovely city of Sao Paulo, Zona Leste. Lots to cover. But while we wait for our guests, let's catch up. What's been going on past few months? What's been going on? Well, I've had this issue with Canon and Mac. I don't know if you guys recall. I got online, asked for help, like, hey, I'm having a streaming issue. I ended up fixing the issue. Cost me some money. But, I knew the people needed me. I know YouTube needed me. You guys needed me because brothers down in South America. You need the intel, you need the news, you need to know my day-to-day, how everything's going. I need to know how you guys are doing. So I did what I could, came back, and we're back in action. That's the title. We're back in action. Dre's pulling up tonight. Love Crossing Borders. Yes, that's right. The Love Crossing Borders. Man, shout out to Dre though, because from the time I've known him, I've seen his channel just go up. Crazy. But yeah, Queens NY, back in DR this week. Got some stuff to take care of out there. Gonna see my guy Jorge. Gonna see some old friends, and it's gonna be a quick trip because got a lot of stuff going on in Brazil. Got a job as a American football coach. So I've been working with the Brazilian Federation of American Football. That's a real thing down here. No BS. That is a real thing. I kid you guys not. So I've been busy with that. Last week just did a camp with the Junior Dolphins from the NFL. Met the head of security for international NFL, relations. So that was cool. So definitely a lot of things been opening up to me here in Sao Paulo. As you guys know, I think last I spoke to you guys, I tried to move because I was like, all right, you know what? Let me I guess try to find another city where I can maybe fit in Brazil, because you guys know Brazil is huge. At least like 3 or 4 other countries could fit into Brazil. So I went to the north. I went to João Pessoa with my guy Dave from Rio. Shout out to Dave. He's another veteran that live out here. Went to João Pessoa, Parabai. Like 3 hours from Sao Paulo. Peep this. I liked it better than I liked Natal. Natal was cool, but y'all know my background. City boy. Moved to DR, lived 5 minutes from the beach and Russell Taylor made. Wasn't feeling that area. Moved to Santiago, like Santiago, left Santiago, came to Brazil, came to Sao Paulo. I'm a city boy at heart. I need that environment, but at the same time, I have been trying to change that. I've been fighting to try to change that. Hopefully that changes, one day, whether I'm switching countries, because there are plans for Asia. Asia is definitely on that list. What country? I don't know. I don't know about Thailand, but I definitely want to, do like a Japanish or like Malaysia, I've heard Malaysia is good. So let's see. Let's see. But how's everybody doing tonight? Who's in with me? Drop a comment. Like the video on your way in, on your way out. That's right. Chapapa is back. For all you guys just joining. See, Ricky's here, Queens. What's going on? But yeah, and other than that, just been gearing up. Got the big NFL game happening about legit 18 minutes from where I live. Just so I can show you guys, it's 18 minutes, right? Itaquera Arena. Look at this, 9.3 kilometers. There's some traffic out. Nope, it still says 18 minutes. Still says 18 minutes. Look at this. Look at this right here. That's how close your boy is gonna be. That's how close your boy is gonna be to this NFL game. And when I tell you it's a madhouse, Brazil, like I really had to be here. And another reason why I'm doing this American football thing as a coach, why I'm working with the CBFA, why I'm meeting with all these NFL people, is because I really want to cement and like have my handprint, my imprint on the growth and the history of American football taking over South America, right? There's a lot of first-time things going on here that nobody expected. Like, who would expect, a Friday night game, a regular season game happening in South America? The first. And your boy is leaving his imprint on that. So that's definitely something that I'm proud to work on. Hey, Battle Buddy says don't say I was in here. Shout out to my best friend Cass. She's in New York. Still every day I try to get her to, just pack up and, have a better life abroad, but she supports me from afar, even though she always asks me to move back. That's my battle buddy. But yeah, so come August, things are gonna start ramping up. When the tickets came out, they came out for 2 days, right? No, they had 3 days of sales. Technically it's supposed to be 3 days. So the first day they had the pre-sale, available to people with a certain type of credit card. And the second day was the general sales. Each day had like maybe 100,000 people online in the queue. And I think they only had about maybe 40,000 tickets in all. Lots going on with that. Not everybody was able to get a ticket. I was able to get a ticket. I was the only one out of my friends group able to get one. So I'm still trying to help my peoples. But that's what's been happening. I don't have that connection yet where I could just call up the NFL, like, hey, I need some tickets. But one day for your boy. Besides that, it's winter time in Brazil right now, quote unquote winter. It's about 70 something degrees. It's not that cold. And if you come down here, you'll see people with bubble jackets and hats, and they got all this craziness going on because it's technically their winter. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Some days you gotta go out there like with a light sweater, or if you got a really nice hoodie and you want to show out the hoodie, that's what I'll do. If I have a really nice hoodie, I feel like, I haven't pulled this out the closet in a while, I would wear a hoodie. But other than that, there's no such thing as winter here for Sao Paulo. South of Brazil, yeah. But no winter. Like you could be out here in shorts, sandals, whatever. You get rain, but no winter. It's still summer. What else is new? Consultations are still up, still going on. If you guys need any know-hows about Brazil, whether it's visas, moving down here, what to do when you're getting down here, setting up your CPF. CPFs, are really important. Like I'll be honest with you, if I didn't get my CPF the first time when I came out here, I'd be screwed. CPF is basically that it's kind of like that Brazilian it's like a social security number / credit monitoring, if that makes sense. So CPFs are important if you plan on coming down here to Brazil for, say, about maybe 6 months. That's cool. You're going to need a CPF. Without a CPF, you can't even get a phone line. I kid you not. Can't do nothing with that. So consultations are still up for Brazil. Any type of Brazilian traveling, wanting to move down here. Yeah, exactly, Ricky. It's a taxpayer ID too. Taxpayer ID. So with your CPF, you could go grocery shopping. You could try to open up a line of credit. You could get a phone plan. You need it to sign for an apartment. You know, they check like your income. Like for me, when I needed to get any of my last few apartments here, I've had to get a CPF. They've asked for my CPF. So stuff like that is very, very important, that taxpayer ID. But I don't pay tax as a veteran. Important to know, people, that I don't pay tax as a veteran because disability is not taxable. At least one country is getting it right? You hear that? Disability is not taxable here in Brazil. If you get your visa the right way, the visa of retirement, which is what I got and which is what allows me to stay in Brazil past the 6-month mark, stay in Brazil year round. Speaking of, Ricky, when are you coming? I think you're supposed to come down here. What's going on with that? What's going on with that? But other than that, like I said, this live stream, you know, I just wanted to say I'm alive. Still, I know I got some shorts and all this stuff, but your boy's alive, and I had to get Dre back in the building. Because there's definitely some stuff that been going on in the States where I feel like it's a ha-ha moment. I want to talk my ish a little, just a little bit. But every day when I just like go on my phone and I look at like some news or something that's going on, I just say, thank God for the passport. Thank God for the passport. So still the plan, man. Just got to finish some business down here in DR. Hey, man, talk to me. How is DR? Anybody watching right now, how has the Dominican Republic been lately? Because this is my first time going back in 2 years. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little nervous. So let me know how DR is. Gonna hit up Santiago. Gonna hit up the what is it called? The Veterans Clinic. If y'all didn't know, they have a lot of third-party veteran clinics. I mean, a lot. Like I think it's up to the point where they can have like clinic wars. Like that's how much clinics are down there in the Dominican Republic. But going to one third-party VA clinic in Santiago, I gotta take care of some stuff. But how's DR, Ricky? Tell me about DR. Like the vibe, I can imagine vibe is still the same. It's not hurricane season, is it? Let's see. Pretty much the same as you left it, except for immigration intensifying, deportation of illegal Haitians. All right, so it's still the same. How would you say inflation is down there? Like the cost of living. How's that DR cost of living? Because let me tell you, the dollar has been going up tremendously out here on YouTube. 1 second. Man, when I tell ya, so let me, I'll check the dollar right now for you guys. Let me check the dollar. $1 is 5.61. Right? 5.61. Let me tell you, like, how flabbergasted I am to see that. When I first got to Brazil in 2022, the highest I've seen the dollar was probably like 5.25. And mind you, it's hit some lows where I thought to myself like, hey, I'm probably gonna have to have another country as a backup plan or something, or maybe move around South America for a little till this gets figured out, because the dollars was going like 470, 480 between there. And for those of you who don't know, that currency exchange isn't bad, but for somebody who came here to when it was 5.2, 5.1, 5.15, you know, it's a lot. It's anywhere from you paying $1,000 in rent to maybe $980, $970 in rent with that dollar going up. But I don't know if it's been this high before. I think during the pandemic, people said it's hit the sixes. For me, this is historical. 5.61 dollar to real. And it's beautiful, baby. You just you get more money for your exchange rate, and that's something where I'm glad Dre's gonna come on to talk about. Just like that exchange rate could be anywhere from, you know, I know friends paying $150 for two at least, and that's just a dinner, no drinks, nothing. $150 to where maybe $10 out here could get you a meal for two and some drinks. $10, right? At a point, I'll give you an example. At a point, 50 reais to me was $10. I always equated 50 reals $10. Right now, if I type in 50 on my converter app, it comes out to $8.91. I know I'm just mathing your head up right now, but that's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. Ain't nothing gonna change that. I do remember at a point during the pandemic, the dollar hit 60 at a point during the pandemic. It was still while I was living in DR. 59.25. That's all right. So I'll probably hit the ATM. Pull out some pesos when I get down there. Like I said, it's gonna be a quick trip. I won't even be able to link up with anyone really while I'm there. But like we said, back in DR, back in YouTube. No. Maybe might get George to do a live while we're out there. We'll see what happens. But other than that, what's been new? What's missing to cover as we wait for our guests? What else has been new? What have I been missing in the States? Nothing. Like, I see things like, you know, with the election, and I'm just, man, I don't know if you guys experienced it the last time. When was the last election? 2020? I told you guys you need to experience a World Cup in another country, like especially the country that's hosting. You guys need to experience the American election outside the States, because it's literally like a soap. It's a soap opera almost. It's kind of like watching Game of Thrones. Whenever I look at the like news outlets on social media, or I get like a notification from Google or whatever, it's always something like the States feels like a real life TV show. Real life. Nah, I'm not even kidding. It's like watching Game of Thrones with all the politics and backstabbing and attempted murders and mass shootings and executions and inflation and the people not being able to afford this. I mean, come on. I couldn't live like that. I could not live. Anywho, ain't here to be a negative Nancy, but remote jobs are available. They're available. Passport applications are available. Yeah, I saw that about 50 in Trump. Hey, listen, man, I don't want to get too much into politics, but I already know the guy's going to win. He definitely won. If anything, him getting grazed or whatever it was that happened, that solidified his win. You know. But like I said, I could see there's a lot of problems going on in the States, especially with inflation. Like shit is just way too expensive. I dread every time I have to go back there. Way too expensive, man. It's like I don't get how they do it. Like I don't get how they do it, Ricky. Like you go somewhere and you see the power of the dollar. You see what the dollar can get you. I know it hurts. Like, damn, I gotta go back to the States. You know it hurts. How's inflation in Sao Paulo? How is inflation? All right. It's a tough question because Sao Paulo is the most expensive city in Brazil. So it's kind of like things are already inflated, if that makes any sense. But I haven't seen the prices go up really, because like I said, when the dollar goes up, it's like things get cheaper for me. But I also hear people say when the dollar goes up, you know, it's worse for them because, you know, things cost more in reais. Not good to earn in reais. But how's the inflation? I don't know, because I feel like the neighborhood I'm at now is decent. Like you could go to a boteca or like those standalone restaurants to get stuff for cheap. I live around the corner from universities, so there's a lot of stuff around here that have like student prices and cheap stuff going on. So I don't really feel inflation, right? For me, the heaviest thing for me in Sao Paulo would be the rent, because the rent can get outrageous sometimes, depending on your neighborhood, depending on what you're doing. Rent can get outrageous. But as far as inflation on items, I don't buy clothes. Grocery shop, I haven't seen none really. So I can't really say. I don't know. It's hard to count inflation in the city that all Brazilians will say is the most expensive in Brazil. Sao Paulo is the most expensive city in Brazil. Definitely, by far. But Sao Paulo also has the most work available in Brazil. Like you have people that move here just to become Uber drivers because the cars, in my time being here, there's a lot more cars on the road. And even though, you know, national salary isn't great, there is more job opportunities here. So, German in the building. What's going on? What's going on, man? Yes, it's been a minute dealing with some technical difficulties live streaming, but your boy's back, you know, here with the information. I was just talking to folks out here about, you know, the going-ons of Sao Paulo, the going-ons with Brazil. I don't know if you guys saw the other day, not the other day, it was like the other month, but Jalen Ramsey was down here. I had the pleasure of working with Jalen Ramsey. That was cool. So it's definitely been a minute. Thank you for checking in, brother. Thank you for checking in. It's going to be a great live stream tonight. We're just warming up, just letting the beat build. That's an interesting thought, right? Before I get into it, well, you're saying it's 19% cheaper than DR. Drop a comment if you agree that Brazil is cheaper than Dominican Republic. Let me hear your thoughts on that. Because I feel like for Sao Paulo, depending how you live, right? Maybe because and sorry, I'm like looking at the skyline now, thinking like, if you say you rent a building, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, it doesn't need like a pool or whatever. Actually, let's do this right now. Let's look at some apartments. Let's compare prices. Let's see if it could be cheaper than Brazil. Somebody give me the price of rent right now in Dominican Republic. All right, so this is how I look for apartments here. Aluguel, Portuguese, apartamentos, city, Sao Paulo, right? So let's look for the most basic apartment we can. And let's see how much that comes out to. You guys seeing these prices? So this right here says $16,000 a month, right? For you big baller shot callers out there, 16,000 reais a month is $2,800. What are you getting for $2,800? Won't even let me pull it up for $2,800. This one right here is $6,500. $6,500. I know that's a little bit above $1,200, maybe. $6,500 is no $1,158. Application error. I keep getting an error. It won't even let me show the apartment. Hello. But you guys get the gist. Yeah, but you see, I would never pay $2,800 for that type of apartment in DR. Number one, most important, infrastructure. The infrastructure in the Dominican Republic doesn't match for what people want in rent. Doesn't match. So I would never pay that much because I could have a nice ass building being a nice complex, but there's a huge jacuzzi of a pothole right outside. See, at least here in Sao Paulo, I have like infrastructure, legit infrastructure that I couldn't get in the Dominican Republic. But for it to still come out cheaper than that, it's like, something ain't adding up. Something's not adding up with that. But if it's 19% cheaper than the Dominican Republic, Sao Paulo is, I say there's way more to do. You have a lot more access. If you're renting a 1-bedroom in a nice neighborhood like Piantini, it starts around $850 US. Some go over $1K. See, that's Santo Domingo for you, because $850 in the DR in Santo Domingo with that traffic. Nah. For that price, you might as well go to another country where the infrastructure actually calls for rent this price, right? My rent right now is 3,800 reais. So you guys see I'm not exaggerating. With the dollar going up, if I can't read it, 3,800 reais is $667. At a point, I was paying $760 for where the dollar was. With the dollar going up, I'm saving a little bit over or close to $100 just in rent with the dollar going up. For a 3-bedroom apartment, 21st floor, has a pool, has a gym, has a sauna, security guard, facial recognition, all the works. For less than $700. Great infrastructure. German says, my eyes set on these places in Brazil. Blumenau, Belém, and Florianópolis. I hear a lot of Florianópolis. I hear a lot about Florianópolis or Floripa. That's on the list of places to go check out. Probably sometime next year. I definitely for February, Salvador Bahia, definitely for Carnival. It's a must. But Florianópolis is on that list. I've heard a lot about that. I want to go check out Florianópolis. I want to go check out Belo Horizonte is another one. But that sounds a good list. When you plan on checking out those places? Like I said, I just came from the north, João Pessoa. It was cool. There they had the tallest bar in South America, I believe. Their bar restaurant was on like the 45th floor. That's the one. Rick, I'm the one living in Brazil, and I'm actually for geography. Florianópolis is the one to the south, right? Because if it's the one to the south, then yes, definitely the Argentinians are there. Which is the one in Fortaleza. I believe Fortaleza is north. Going to start in October. All right, cool. Yeah, it's definitely what goes on around that time in Brazil. Yeah, it's a good time to be around here. You know, you got winter ending, becoming summer. So it's cool. But just remember what I said, get that CPF before you get down here. Get yourself that tax ID number before you get down to Brazil. So yeah, Fortaleza is the one I've heard good things about. It'll be Fortaleza then. Yeah, Fortaleza is the north. So definitely sometime next year, I want to go check out Fortaleza. And right now it's in the plans to go to Salvador Bahia for Carnival. Because, you know, folks here say the best carnival isn't in Rio. Isn't in Sao Paulo, but it is in Salvador Bahia. So that's definitely the move I want to make for February. Other travel plans. I would go this year, but this year my schedule is swamped for traveling. Like I got Dominican Republic this week, and then New York in October, and then Germany in November. It's a lot going on this year, so definitely gonna have to squeeze in some Brazil trips. But I am happy I was able to go to another state this year. It was cool. Went to São Sebastião recently. That's a beach city south of Sao Paulo. For those who say like, oh, you know, Chapapa, Sao Paulo don't have the beach. You got to go to Rio, man. Hey, don't get it twisted. Sao Paulo has beaches. It's a huge state. There's just no beaches in the city. But if you want that mix like I wanted in DR, but I couldn't quite find a DR, so I had to get a car. If you recall, I moved to Santiago. Santiago is what from the beach? What depending what beach? Hour and 20, hour and 10 away from Puerto Plata, hour 30 away from Sosúa, 2 hours away from La Ensenada. Favorite beach in DR, by the way. Gotta be my favorite beach. You see, this is how you know I'm not even in tune with the news. Ricky says, be careful, bro. There's war right now where Russia has advised they could attack Europe. Now, why would they want to do that? Why would Russia want to do that? That's how you know I'm out of touch. I ain't even know. I'm getting ready to hop on a plane, get off in Germany, all smiles, and shit could just blow off at any minute. Golly. But yeah, I want to go to Germany. I've always had it in my heart to go to Germany. I don't know. I think it's just like maybe something out of high school. Just I don't know. I'm very interested in German culture. Anybody in the chat or in the channel has been to Germany, drop some notes for me, some thoughts. Let me know. But Ricky, I didn't hear this. I definitely didn't hear this. Because of the Ukraine war and Europe sending troops and weapons to attack Russian stuff. I didn't know that. Damn. Well, hopefully they leave Germany alone. Hopefully they leave them alone. I forgot the war was still going on. That's how you know how to be tied to the news. But yeah, that's gonna be happening in November. Definitely excited for that trip. Chapapa got the thing with the ladies a little bit, lacking in the melanin. Just kidding with that. But no, I definitely want to go check it out. I'm glad I'm able to do that. It will be my second time going to Europe. As you guys know, first time was last year, Amsterdam, Denmark. Real sweet, but I think Germany will be better. That's it. I'm just scouting for now, right? Definitely see myself in Brazil for at least the next 5 years. At least. And if I do move, it's not because I have to move, because it'll be more for one. Unless something legit kept me here, like seriously here, whether it be the NFL, whether it be, something going on. Like the 2 times I've tried to move out of Sao Paulo, my friend group has stopped me. My friends group definitely helped me out. I had surgery down here recently in Sao Paulo. My first surgery in Brazil, first surgery in South America. Everything went smooth because I'm still here talking to you guys, but had an amazing support group. So shout out to all of them, all the expats down here. And that's something I was telling Jorge the other day. The expats that I met here in Brazil don't compare to the ones in the Dominican Republic. Don't compare. Now, I don't know if it's because we were all spread out in the Dominican Republic, but you guys do recall some lives where I said not all expats are good expats. So I feel like expats in the DR, sometimes you gotta watch out for them. But the group I met here, these people are like family, bro. I mean, like weekly meetups, brunches or dinners at each other's houses, going to events. You know what? Big round of applause for all the Brazilian expats. Because They deserve it, man. Great people, great people, great people. Accomplished a lot with them. Our guest said he'll be on in 5 minutes. Stay tuned, stay tuned. Let's see. Once I go to Brazil, I could visit other countries, even spend months in other countries, but I don't see myself leaving Brazil ever again once I get here. It's hard to leave Brazil. For me, I literally have to like psych myself up to leave Brazil. Because even if I didn't want to leave, I know I could just find myself like some remote state or city and just go post up in, and where I'm paying $400 a month in rent, and I'm happy, and the sun is shining, and I got my Brazilian boo thing with me. I can see that here. The country is so big, too big for that. But if I were to leave, it would be more of a want, more of wanting to explore, just that curiosity. Who's to say I can't come back? But just other places around the world where I could see myself, hey, maybe living here. And I think that I know that next stop for me is Asia. Definitely know that next stop for me is Asia. How are the barbecues? Man, go at least once a month. There's a restaurant here called Barbacoa. See, you got the Fogo de Chao, you got the small mom and pop spots, but Barbacoa, man, my favorite Brazilian barbecue. And guess what? A few of them around the world also. They just open one in Japan. There's one in Italy. There's only maybe 3 or 4 in Brazil in total. But Brazilian barbecue, you guys come down to Brazil, Brazilian barbecue has to be at the top of your list. Don't be those folks who you go to another country and you go to is chicken tenders and French fries, and your excuses are, people can't mess up chicken tenders and French fries. You're in a foreign land, you got your passport stamped, and first thing you do when you go out is going to a McDonald's or getting a kid's meal or getting your chicken tenders and French fries, something simple like, it's what I eat back home, is what over here. Man, if you don't get your scared to open up to a new culture ass out. Listen, since being in Brazil, I've been introduced to feijoada that they serve nationally. It's like every Wednesday and Saturday, it's feijoada day. It's like beef stew in these clay bowls. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You got the Brazilian barbecues. You got one thing I don't agree with is the hot dogs. The Brazilian hot dogs are ridiculous. Got too much going on. But yeah, man, you guys come down. Definitely gotta have some Brazilian cuisine. Nah. You see, that's the thing about Latin America. And I think Drake could attest to that. McDonald's, right? I'll give you guys some game. McDonald's in Latin America. Even I think while I was in DR, while I was in the Dominican Republic, McDonald's is a delicacy. Like they have 24-hour McDonald's here. In some neighborhoods, it's even considered a date spot. So franchises in Brazil, they're not going nowhere. You go to the mall, there's a line at the Burger King. There's a KFC, there's a Popeyes, there's a Taco Bell. Ridiculous. But if there's one thing I learned living in Latin America loves their franchises. Can't see about that. I'm not surprised. Like I said, for my time living in DR, seeing how crazy people go over McDonald's. While I was in the Dominican Republic, I'm like, nah, franchises outside the States, they're not going nowhere. Yo, JM in the building. JM, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Been a minute. Hope all is well with you. Hope all is well. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah. Funny you mentioned that. Yeah, I did lose weight. I did lose weight while I was out here. I lost about 19 kilos so far. 19 kilos. And I wanted to, I was thinking about documenting my weight loss journey. Thinking about it, but I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, when I mentioned that I had surgery out here, I ended up getting a gastric bypass out here in Brazil. This is recently. And so far, I lost about 19 kilos. 19 and a half kilos. And I'm only a month post-operation. So, thank you, JM. I appreciate that, but I definitely did lose some weight. I can't even lie to you. Definitely did. Yeah, that was my problem, Ricky. Living out here, that was definitely. We tried Rodizio, everything. They even got Rodizio sushi, man. That's what's cool about Brazil. Like they, and it's crazy because there's not really a. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to say it's not really. Like there's like some obesity here, but for the way Brazilians be eating and drinking, nah. It's like something's going on. Yeah, they always in the gym. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of fitness stuff going on, but I'm like, if you guys were to stay here for a week and go somewhere and see the way that Brazilians eat and drink, you'd be like, yo, how is Brazil not like the States? And I'll tell you why. The food. The food here is different. I'm sure lots of you have personal experiences to where, you know, you grew up, you lived in the States, you go to another country, eat the food, and you feel different. You're not bloated, you're not tired after eating, you don't have no pain, you can function. You might even be losing weight. I'm telling you, just something about countries that give natural food. In the States, it's very, very hard to come by. So they pumping in all those hormones and drugs and all this stuff. Like, look at all the. I noticed something about a recall. I know y'all got some new bacteria now going on in your food. A friend of mine just sent me an article today about a recall on all boar's head meats. Y'all can't even eat in the States anymore. Crazy. But without further ado, let's introduce the man himself, Dr. Dre, in the building. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's going on in the States with the food?
Hey, they got some crazy bacteria now. I'll get the name for you right now. But you can't even
the cows ain't mad, and the chickens and the
it's no swine
eat the
flu.
pork. The swine, yeah. Shout out to you, man.
It's called listeriosis.
Wow.
Listeriosis contamination. That's what's going on in the States right now. On food. Not just any food. It's happening on the veggies.
It's on the veggies?
It's happening on the veggies, happening on the fruits, and now it's happening in the meats.
Yeah, they can have those biblical foods. The United States citizens, you all can enjoy those biblical foods. Foods of famine. Foods of famine. That's what we're going to call them tonight. You can enjoy all those foods of famine. All those foods that were prophesized in the Bible, and all the foods that Moses and them cursed. Y'all can keep on eating that in the United States. Enjoy that.
Hey, Dre, I was just telling them, they can ask you, when you're in Colombia and you eat the food there compared to if you do a quick trip to the States and eat the food there, what's the difference in your body that you feel?
First of all, you're quicker to get the itis. You're quicker to get become sleepy after a heavy meal. Like we just and that's in the States. You're quicker to find yourself more lethargic, more sleepy throughout the day. Also in the States, you find yourself putting on weight rapido. So it's easy to put on weight when you're in the States because it's got so many so much processed foods. Also in the States, you find yourself not being as alert. You are what you eat, and so you find yourself, you think that you're alert because everybody else is kind of like in this quasar. So you think that, hey, as long as I'm a little bit more alert than the average bear, then I must be good. And then you find out when you go to other countries how much more alert that you are when you're eating foods that are not processed or don't have preservatives in there. And we failed in the United States to realize the word preservatives, it is exactly what it is. It is made for the foods to last longer than a food's supposed to. I want to say that last part again. What they put in your food in the United States and Canada and many parts of the world, but I really want to say the United States because the United States has over 113 foods that are illegal to sell in other countries, and they only can sell it in the United States. They put stuff in your food to preserve it longer than a food is supposed to last. So they put stuff in your bananas to make it last longer than a banana is supposed to last. In your ice cream longer than the dairy is supposed to last. In your breads longer than the bread is supposed to last. And so since you're eating those preservatives, a lot of things that cause a lot of us to have physical problems in the United States is due to the fact of what they're putting off in there. Then also you got the GMOs, the growth modified organisms. That's not even real food. It's like pretend food. It's like near meat, but not meat at all. And so you have that you have to contend with in the United States compared to, South America. You find yourself eating fruits and vegetables that actually live the longevity that a regular fruit or regular avocado or regular papaya is supposed to last. They don't create it to last long. It's supposed to only last a few days, and then it's consumed. It's supposed to last like that, and then you don't have to worry about, even if you're drinking or eating some snacks, you don't have to worry about as much salt in there. You don't have to worry about what is it that they use in the States? A lot of corn syrup. A lot of that stuff is not legal in South America. You're not going to find as much corn syrup or sugars off in the foods like it is in North America. So even if this is the crazy part, Chapapa, even if it's the same brand or company making it, like Heinz ketchup in America is different from Heinz ketchup in Europe and in South America. You just look at the backs of the ingredients. They put all type of trash in the one in the United States, and then that same company use healthier ingredients and ship that out to the rest of the world. But the trash is left. The trash Heinz ketchup is left in the States.
Mm-hmm. Funny you mention that. I know in Europe, like certain candies aren't even allowed.
No, like Skittles are illegal and start more and more because of one of it's because of the red dye number. I think it's number 16 or number 9. The red dye that they use in Skittles is almost cancer causing. So a lot of countries has banned just the Skittles from being in red M&Ms to be sold in their countries.
I know, man. And funny thing is, before we get into the topic of this live, so JM says you could buy healthy food in the States. It's just too expensive for you fellas. Respect.
No, that's not healthy foods.
That's not healthy foods. The man just said preservatives.
They just tell you that. They just That's the funny part. In the United States, they charge you for something under the auspices or umbrella of healthy foods. It's just got less preservatives. You could go to Whole Foods. Unless you are actually going to a real farmer's market and getting it actually where the farmers are actually growing their own foods. And farmers market you can go to on Saturdays and Sundays. Unless you're getting it there, even the Whole Foods is trash compared to the rest of the world.
Yep.
That's why here's the catcher. For example, JM, shout out to you for being here. That, for example, if there were such things as a healthy version of meats in the United States, let's say you could only buy food from Whole Food meats. Whole Foods pork, chicken, beef, and fish are illegal in the rest of the world. So even your healthiest foods are illegal to sell to another country. I mean, literally, you cannot sell American meat to the rest of the world. None of it. Your healthiest version of what you consider the healthiest meat that you eat in the United States is illegal to sell that in the rest of the world. Even though the cost may be expensive, you might be thinking, it's expensive. I'm living a better life. Technically, you're not.
What's considered healthy to you guys is still stuff you shouldn't be putting in your body.
True.
And that's where a lot of Americans get it twisted, thinking that the FDA is your friend. Oh man, we got the Food Drug Administration. They're gonna look out for us. They're gonna make sure, we're not getting no extra sugar or high fructose corn syrup, or we're fine. Look at you guys are having recalls for a bacteria on fruits, vegetables, and now some meats.
But man, let me see if I can pronounce his name. Rapallo? Ricky Powell. Hope I pronounced that. I'm thinking in Spanish. It could be Portuguese, as far as I know. My bad, brother, for destroying your name. He said, Dre, they do send some up to DR, and if it's one of the, think about it, a DR is also considered, if I'm not mistaken, one of the U.S. Virgin Islands. So it's one of the islands that you don't need a passport for. You just need to use. You do need a passport. Do you need a passport to get in the DR?
Yeah, you need a passport to go.
Okay, so it's not one of the U.S. Okay, so it's one of the few. I guess DR is one of the few countries that get meats from America.
They do.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah, a lot of countries. I did not notice. I didn't say all countries, but yeah, most countries. The beef, the poultry, the chicken, and the farm-fed or farm-raised fish, like the tilapia. Most countries are not going to accept American foods. As
they shouldn't. You eating animals grown in a lab, but DR is a surpriser because they have lots of farmlands.
They do.
Lots of farmers.
They do, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is about the profit. Remember, America is a corporation, not a country. Never has been a country, never will be a country. Only people that walk up under the auspices of patriotism look at it as a country, but America is established and it's actually incorporated. Most people don't even realize the United States is actually technically a corporation. It's literally incorporated itself. I got to find out. My man Todd of Infinite Growth, he knows the actual case number for the United States. Its corporation number. He knows its actual case number, corporation number, as far as United States being a corporation. And it literally is. Some guys think that I'll just say that flippantly, but United States was never established to be a country. Think about it. The British sent the pilgrims and everybody over here to make a profit, to find out what they could pillage off the land. It was all about business. The United States took over the cotton industry from Russia. It was all about business. It would have faltered if it wasn't for the French stepping in during the Revolutionary War. It was still all about the business of war. French made money by, looking out for America. So all this has always been a corporation. It's those of us that sit around, as regular, everyday mere mortals, look at it as if a country, as if it's a country. United States, the reason why it's continuing to grow and be strong the way that it is that it is a corporation. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Slick says, Andre, pernil is a pork that's sold in South America and cooked on a daily basis. Can you explain your opinion on that?
Parnell is
Pernil.
a pork that's sold.
You know, pernil, like they'll have it around Christmas time. Like it's like pork, almost like pulled pork. It's like
Is
Latin.
it now? Let me ask them this, because as I described the Heinz ketchup, is it the same pork and raised the same way? Even though remember I said that you can have a company. I kid you not, guys. You need to do your research on your own food in your own country. They will literally, under the one company, let's say Parnell, they will have a version of pork that they sell to you and a completely different raised version of pork that they will sell to the rest of the world. The American versions, what I'm talking about, they will not sell to the rest of the world. It's illegal. It's so crazy how in our own country, we're not even sold the quality version of our own foods that's being sold to other countries. That's probably what ticks me off the most when it comes to our food. We don't get the healthy version. Other countries get that healthy version.
And it's been proven in
even
documentaries.
Coca-Cola. Even if you look at the Coca-Cola label in Mexico compared to the Coca-Cola label in the United States, it's a completely different Coca-Cola.
It has to be, because the way they drink Coca-Cola, Latin American people, they drink Coca-Cola like it's water.
Like it's water. And you like, how did they get away with that? And they don't have all the symptoms that we have when it comes to drinking Coca-Cola. Completely different ingredients. It's crazy. And it's sad that we don't get that version of the pork, the chicken, the poultry, but we'll get the slop version. You know, we'll get the chicken that's been beefed up and grown in 2 weeks. But if we do sell chicken to another country, it has to be naturally grown chicken in the way that it's supposed to be grown.
It has to be the happy chicken.
Yeah.
Let me see. So James says the labels are not accurate in other countries. They could get away with it, Andre. Open up your eyes, dude. It's called corruption. Corruption and labels. So you're saying there's corruption to food. So why are there healthier people that can eat the same, if not more, than Americans? I was just saying this before Andre got on. Brazil makes no sense on how the people eat and drink here. They eat and drink like there's no tomorrow, but they're still fit. How? If a Brazilian were to eat the same in America, and I've been told the same by Brazilians, if they would go to America to eat the same that they eat in Brazil, they would gain weight drastically. No ifs, ands, or buts. Doesn't matter with the active lifestyle.
That's what happened to Andrea's best friend. And dude, she went to the States and got caught there for COVID. We talking about a very attractive young lady. Bruh, she blew the fuck up. Not because she was stuck in the house, because half of y'all states wasn't even shut down, but because she was now eating American food. And American food, for the most part, is not set up to make you full. It's set up to make you purchase more and eat more.
Mm-hmm.
So you're eating more than you would normally eat in another country or in your home country. And so that's one reason. And then you got the preservatives and all that other junk that's off in there. And so that's another thing that has impacted everybody that I know that went to United States, put on weight. It is not a coincidence that 70% of all Americans are considered overweight or obese, whether male or female. It's not a coincidence. America only has one city in the blue zone. Blue zone is areas where people live to be 100 years old. There is only one small city in all of America that's considered a blue zone location.
And it's probably rural. Lots of farmlands, mountains.
Yeah. And you can look up Blue Zone. Blue Zone has videos. Netflix did a special on Blue Zone on people that live up to 100 years plus. There's a website called Blue Zone. You can just look up Blue Zone. I mean, they just... Yeah, they don't... This the part, JM. They don't have to eat portions, because even if they eat a large, I'll give you a perfect example. my uncle's here, and Andre and I just took him out to a dinner in a beautiful location, way up in the mountains, beautiful view, had a great meal, wonderful. Nowhere near do I feel the itis. And I'm talking about a full meal. I'm talking about I had me a nice piece of tilapia, nice South America tilapia. Nice piece of fish. We had an entree. We had everything. If this was the States, I'd be laid out on the couch somewhere, sleeping. But you rarely get the itis down here. I mean, it's JM. It's easy to sit back and say, "Oh, it's because of this. It's because of that." And I can understand where you're coming from, but I'm telling you, man, the FDA does not control outside the United States. So countries sit back and say, if we're going to get something from the States, it has to have this. Even your cereals. I was just looking at a documentary on just Kellogg's. Kellogg's has a different cereal that they sell to the rest of the world, a healthier version of corn flakes, frosted flakes, all that is sold a different version compared to what they sell us in our own country. Shout out to Battle Creek, Michigan, where Kellogg's is located. You can smell the cereal being made in the air. But I kid you not, it's crazy.
And JM, instead of asking us why, you got to be asking the government why, the American government.
Yeah.
Why? And
American government is. I give you a perfect example. I just saw a special on where they took a small soda, a medium soda, and a large soda. Did you know this? It's the same amount of liquid in each container, but the containers are made to where if you get a small soda, it fills to a certain amount. And then if you get the large one, they make the medium container in a way to where it's literally the same amount in the small, but you think you got a medium. Then they poured it into a large, and it was the same thing, but they make the large containers in a way that you would think you're getting more, but you're literally getting the same amount that you got in the small. America is a consumer country. It's set up like that. I was just looking at the stats the other day, Chapapa. Did you know that black people have a 1.6 trillion buying power every year? Every year we spend $1.6 trillion on everything you can imagine. Yet we only have saved 15 cents to every dollar that a white person saves. We save 15 cents, but we will spend 1.6 trillion every year. Consumer programmed. The grass is green on the other side. Keeping up with the Joneses. Have you noticed this, Chop, that you do not keep up with the Joneses as much when you're outside the country? You could care less about a brand. You ain't tripping. The most you may think about is tennis shoes. Like I may, get my Nikes, my Air Forces, or I might get my Adidas. That's the most. You really ain't sitting back like I need this brand, or I need my Polo, and you ain't trying to keep up with the Joneses when you leave the country. That psychological must-spend consumer mindset is not there.
Bro,
it's not there. In the United States, try to get you a woman and you're not spending too much, overspending. The United States is set up for you to, in order to get a woman, thou must overspend. Thus saith the United States.
Bro, I get my shirts from Temu now. I get my $3, $4 shirts from Temu. I go out, meet people. It don't even matter. That keeping up with the Jones stuff, it don't matter overseas. And going, we were just talking about this, Ricky, where GM says they don't eat big portions in Brazil. Dre, when you come out to Brazil, you're gonna hear the word rodizio a lot. Rodizio means two things. It's either the traffic going on in the street where certain license plates are allowed to be out that day, or it means buffet. Brazilians would throw a buffet on everything. You could have a restaurant that just serves French fries. They will try to throw a buffet on that. They have a buffet for meat. They have a buffet for sushi. They have a buffet for churros. They have a buffet for hamburgers. I mean, when you just sit down and they bring you food after food after food after food, and you're gonna say they don't eat big portions here? Man, they live on that, and they're still not blown up like the States.
No. The other thing is that, you know, in South America, people, even though there are a lot of cars and a lot of bikes, people still walk. People still just go for a regular walk. There are people that walk after they got done eating, like we used to do back in the day. There are people that just walk to the grocery store because if it's not too far, why get on the bike and have to worry about going through that traffic? I'll just walk down there to the grocery store, grab what I need, and walk on back. I'll walk to the gym instead of driving to the gym all the time, or I'll run to the gym. I'll jog to the gym. You find yourself just people are walking, and then you'll see people almost in their 70s, 80s. They're still out and about doing what they've been doing since forever, going for a walk, and we don't do that. And they say that scientists have already said that's one of the easiest and fastest ways to lose weight, just walking. You see how Taylor Made Dreams did it? 5 miles a day, walking. I got my brother Troy, who just came down here a couple of days ago. I said, man, you losing weight? He was like, yeah, man. I started going for a walk 3 miles a day. Just a walk. A brother from the States. Most people don't do that. That's why United States is 70% obese. And here's the kicker, Chapapa. When you around all fat people, you don't notice how fat you are. Here's what you do in the United States. Name one country, guys, in the comment section. Name one country they call fat women thick other than the United States. China? Nope. Africa? They tell a big girl you a big girl. They don't call them thick. They call them big girls. If they want them big, they want them big like that. But they ain't gonna lie and say, oh, she thick. No, they gonna tell her, no, you fat like we like them. There's no country in the world that uses the term thick other than the United States. Why? Because we justify us being big. If you a big boy, I'm a big boy, and she a big girl, and I'm a big girl, it don't notice. It's just like everybody growing up poor. Like we always say, you don't notice that you poor until you leave out the hood. You didn't know that you grew up poor. Same thing with weight. You don't notice that you a big ass until you leave America. Then you realize, oh shoot, I am big. Let me go on for a walk. Gonna take my big ass for a walk.
Shit. Besides that, Joe, what's going on with you? How's everything going over there?
Everything's going pretty good, man. Pretty good. Been busy, but pretty good. Getting ready for the Black Manosphere Conclave in Houston on September 8th. Actually from the 6th through the 8th. So I'll be there speaking on behalf of guys that are like you and I that have relocated to other countries. Nice. And what steps need to be taken in order to do that successfully. So I'll be speaking at that event in Houston once again on September 6th through the 8th. So I'm excited about that. And then I've got a couple of courses coming out on how to do that. And then I've got a YouTube course coming out, got a book, actually 2 books that are coming out. So I've been working on those lately, almost at the end of them. Our political channel is doing great. So no complaints, man. No complaints. Just, looking around, thinking about getting some property real soon. We're thinking about real soon having some, have some little Andres running around. Shout out to my uncle Ghostface in the building who's watching right now. It's his birthday today, who we just went and celebrated his birthday.
Hey, happy birthday to Ghostface. Happy birthday. Where the applause at? Yes, sir. Happy birthday.
Jeffrey said they even try to make baller belly a thing in the States. Like they Rick Ross. I got a baller belly. Only in the United States. Gotta love it. We love it.
Anything to try to cover obesity.
Yeah. Yep. And Jeffrey did what he needed to do. Jeffrey has lost over this year. What was it, Jeffrey? You lost 40? Jeffrey's gone from like 220, 225 to 180. Where the doctors say where he needs to be.
That's what's up, Jeffrey. Definitely. Somebody was mentioning that the other just now. Rod, definitely. As I mentioned, I lost about 19 kilos, in the
There
past
you
month.
go.
So get into it. I was just telling him, Jay, I had my first surgery down here in Brazil.
I've had 2 since I talked to you.
Yeah, I had a gastric bypass done down here.
How was the service?
Oh, phenomenal.
What
And for what I paid is like made no sense.
What do you think you would have paid in the States compared to what you paid in Brazil?
With insurance in the States,
With
or
insurance.
without, maybe looking around starting, and this is being nice, maybe starting around 16,000.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And how much right around did you pay for the surgery, if you don't mind me asking, in Brazil?
So when it was time for me to pay, this is when the dollar was shooting up. So originally the surgery price was $4,100. By the time I paid $3,800.
And down here for me, for both of my surgeries, and mine was kind of like back to back. Because I ended up having had throat surgery because I had a little small cyst on my throat from talking so much over the last 5 years on YouTube. So they had to take that off, and then I had another a colon exam surgery to make sure that I didn't have a cancerous situation taking place, but no cancer, so I'm good with that. But with both of those, I paid in copay and in with our insurance that we have here, as well as my meds, zero. We pay for the top of the line insurance. We pay $100 a piece for our insurance. We have the top of the line insurance here, so we get house calls and everything else. And if you never had a house call, you thought house call was just for rich people. That's not true. So we get house calls when we need it and things like that. So our insurance is excellent.
That's beautiful.
And they were the service, man. Excellent, man. It's kind of funny. My nurse was a sister out of Houston. She was actually originally from Cali, but her and her husband, her daughters, moved back down here for 3 or 4 years, and she was telling me that they're about to move back to the States because the girls are getting older and they want to be back around their family that they have back in the States as well. So they're moving back. I just saw her a couple of days ago too, because it took Andrea to get surgery. Andrea just had an exam. That's all it was. It was for. But they put her under anesthesia, and so I saw her, and I was asking the nurse, so when you guys heading back? And so the quality is there. And it's kind of sad how we are told in the United States as if we're the only one that has the best quality medical. No, we have the most expensive medical in the world, and you can look that up. United States does rank in the top 5 for this. United States ranks in the top 5 for malpractice lawsuits. The number one thing that United States gets sued for is leaving things in people's body after surgery. It doesn't matter if it's a piece of metal, small piece of metal, a piece of cotton. They took out the wrong part and left the part that should have been taken out. They left it in that person's body. United States ranks in the top 5 for malpractice lawsuits in the world.
And that's the title of this video tonight, right? The Battle of the Americas. So we're both American. Move from North America to South. How do you feel? Because you have your residency in Colombia, I have my residency in Brazil. How does it feel for you to be a South American? What's the comparison?
Less stress. Seriously, it's less stressful. That goes back to the foods that kind of alleviates that. Healthier air. I mean, you and I are down here by the Amazon jungle, and we're both by oceans, where you get the freshest air from the oceans and the jungle. You know, the Amazon jungle. So we're down here where you get fresh air, fresh water, fresh oxygen. So that's another thing, fresh foods. So that alleviate a lot of the stressors. The other thing is that your brain goes back on learner mode, to whereas back in the States, you know everything. So you're on cruise control, you know English, you know the currency, you know your neighborhood, you know how to drive from one point A to point B. Everything is just on cruise control in your mind in the States. It just is what it is. And now you move to another country and you're like a child that was just born. So now you're in learner mode. You're learning new language. You're learning to not only just speak it, but to read it and to write it, just like on learner mode. You're learning new network of people, who to hang out with, who not to hang out with. This time you get a choice. Before, you were raised in the hood, so you didn't have a choice but to be around everybody in the hood. Now you get a chance to choose what city, what areas you want to be in. That's being on learner mode. What foods, what type of diet you want to have from now on. You don't have American food that just shoved down your throat and you have no choice. And then you pretend like you're eating healthy food when you go to Whole Food, which is not as healthy as you think it is. And so now you're in countries where they have something that we don't know anything of. Recipes. We forgot what a recipe is when you go into a restaurant and it takes them 30 minutes or 35 minutes to make your meal. Why? Because they're chopping everything up from scratch. There's nothing coming from a can or frozen. We aren't accustomed to that. We used to go into a restaurant, everything's in the freezer, pull it out, throw it out, and give it to me. We're not used to that. We're not used to having fish that was caught the day before. So even when it comes, like I keep going back to, the difference is you're on learner mode. So now you're learning that if it takes them some extra time to make your meal, there's a reason behind that. You're learning to, if you like me, you got your driver's license. So now you're learning to drive through the let's put it like this. I want to say correct, but I'll say the most common form of traffic in the world. People sit back and say, man, I went to Colombia and they drive crazy. Well, most countries that we've been to, they drive like Colombians and Brazilians and Southeast Asians and Europeans. American driving is the outlier. I'm going to say this again. America is the only one that doesn't have controlled chaos, to where Americans drive right in the middle of the line. We don't cross over unless we need to cross over. You know, you won't see a bike riding on sidewalk. You won't see a bike riding on the yellow lines. Everything is just perfect and is lined up, which is cool. But that's not how the rest of the world drives. Am I right, Chapapa?
Absolutely.
They drive with the controlled chaos. So, yeah. And so now you're learning. So that's the one thing that I can say that was that has been so beneficial for me. It made this 6-year journey go by so fast, because there was so much to learn and still more to learn. Because by the time you learn your city, now, for example, Andrea just said, I got a restaurant I want to take you and Jeffrey to for his birthday. And I'm like, okay, cool. I thought I knew all the areas of Cali. Andrea took us 20 minutes, just 20-minute ride. And we're 5,000-6,000 feet above sea level, all up in the clouds. We're all in the clouds, looking down on Cali, Colombia, and enjoying the mountain view while having dinner for my Uncle Jeffrey's birthday in 20 minutes. And I didn't even realize that area or that view was that close. And so there's still so much more to learn in South America, even if you think you know everything. What type of women you want to deal with, that's another thing you get to learn. You know, you're in Brazil, you get a chance to, if I want to be with somebody that's Asian, if I want to be with somebody that's Black, if I want to be with somebody that is of white Brazilian descent, you could choose that now. It's nothing that's foreign or odd about you being with a Japanese Brazilian. To whereas in the United States, like, man, you got a Japanese, man, he lying. He ain't got no Japanese Brazilian girlfriend. Wait, ain't no Japanese in Brazil. What are you talking about, Chapapa?
Hey, matter of fact, wish me luck on that, because that's what I'm aiming for. I'm
Right, right.
trying
And
to catch one like a
it's the
Pokemon.
right. That's right. You know, it's the if you don't live in Japan, you live in Brazil. Brazil is the world's largest location of Japanese outside of Japan. But when
Amen.
you're in the States, that lesson is never learned. That's why I keep saying that when you travel and when you relocate, one of the beauties of relocating and really settling in a country and settling in a city or cities is you begin to learn, as well as I was about to say also, Chapapa, you begin to unlearn all the stuff that you were told about other countries in the United States. You find out that 90% of that stuff was a barefaced lie. Your government lied to you. Your family members who never traveled anywhere, they lied to you. Television shows lied to you. Females that was jealous of women in other countries, they lied to you. Y'all only get with the
Mhm.
women in the jungle. Like what? What? And you believed it, and then you believe in Eddie Murphy when he talk about I'm going to Africa and get me one of the women that got a bone in her nose and goonie goo goo or whatever it may be. And you find out that Africa is not what people in the United States think it is. It's a very developed continent, all 54 countries for the most part. So you spend so much time learning new things, but also you spend so much time unlearning all the lies that were told you about going back foods. That's another thing that they lied to you about. So there's a lot of things that you just got to sit back and say, man, listen.
Hey, I was just saying earlier in the chat that when I look at the news from here, like anything going on in the states from outside looking in, it's like a TV show. It's almost like a reality TV show. You're like, nah, ain't no way this happened. Like if it's between crime or politics or just from Trump getting shot to now bacteria on food to the inflation. You're looking. I'm like, yo, it's the United States right now is a Game of Thrones episode.
It
Like
is.
you just don't
It
know
is.
what's gonna happen at the end of each day.
You don't. You don't. And I'm glad that you mentioned the news, because just like you see the news, a lot of Americans don't realize that people in other countries see the news. When we have a 4th of July parade and some fool deletes 10, 15 people at a 4th of July parade, that's broadcast around the world in their language. So they have a lot. Let's put it like this. Chapapa and I have come to a conclusion that shiny I'm American badge that you put on like you're a sheriff, the new sheriffs in town, that badge is made of paper mache. You start to realize being American is not the bragging right that you thought it would be when you left. People sit back and they see what we do when we go in and we delete kids in kindergartens in the United States. They saw Black Lives Matter. They saw those 9 minutes when that man was being held down. They see what takes place when it comes to our politicians. The red and the blue are not the Bloods and the Crips, but the Democrats and the Republicans. They see that. And so when you come to their country, that polished I'm American image, don't think that it's as shiny as you think it is. It's they like, oh cool, you're an American. All right, cool. But it's not that, oh wow, he's an American. Wow. It's that them days are long over.
Bro,
Long over. And then social media with all the passport pookies have not helped either. So you got women, I kid you not, I tell you what I mean, Chop. Give you a perfect example. Andrea was telling me this the other day, and she said it before. There are women that look at my wife and say, I don't know how you did it, girl. What you mean? You married an American? I don't see how you did that. Girl. If you like it, I love it, but I couldn't have did it. I couldn't have married one of them Americans. In our mind, we think everybody want them an American husband or American wife, green cards and all them lies that are told, green cards and visas. And you find out that there are women in South America that are like, man, listen, y'all cool people. I hang out with y'all Americans, No, I don't F with y'all like that. There are females just like, I don't F with y'all like that. And a lot of dudes don't want to admit that truth. That America is not as shiny, not as polished as we think we are. That's another lesson that's learned.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because the other day I was thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? There's not a luster that comes with being an American in South America anymore. Like, maybe people would have curiosity if they hear you speak in English, like, oh, you know, where are you from? But it's not like the fan base running after you, like, oh my God, you're from the States. Oh my God, I want you, I love you. Nah, none of that is here. And I had to like think about that really, like, wow, there's no luster to being from North America anymore. And what you mentioned with the 4th of July and the deletions going on, Dre, I had to catch myself the other day. The other day I went to basically a Brazilian Comic Con. It's the biggest. It was the biggest anime convention in Brazil. 4 days total, thousands of people. They rented out this huge complex at an airport. That's how much space was needed. Like they needed an airport to fit all these people. And while I'm there and I'm looking at everybody dressed up and everybody's having a good time, they take pictures, my first thought was like, all right. I had to catch myself. I'm like, all right, so where's the shooter going to come from? Which one of these people is going to be the shooter? Who's going to spray this place up right now? And you know what happened? I had to get myself one of these, like hold on, Chop, you're in Brazil right now, surrounded by a whole bunch of happy people, a whole bunch of happy nerds. Like this is in the States. And it was such a great positive turnout. Like, number one, I didn't know Brazil itself loved anime, loved Japanese culture that much itself. I mean, like, when I tell you this was like a Comic-Con thing, like once a month, Anime Friends. If you get the chance, look up Anime Friends Sao Paulo. But in the beginning, I was nervous. I was like, damn, you know, in the States, stuff like this, you know, normally something goes crazy, a fight breaks out, you know, there's a shooting. And nah, it wasn't like that. It was all love. All love. And the story you mentioned with your wife, I know you get some situations, whether it's from YouTube or friends or family in the States, where people go, oh, Dre, you probably think you hot shit because you're rent $400 a month and you eating real food and you happy every day and you wake up doing.
Yeah.
You probably think you hot shit. And that's another reason for this live. Because I'm here to talk my shit.
Talk it.
Here to talk my shit. Hey, you guys have your choice to being happy. Your happiness is up there. Waking up at 7, getting back home by 6. Working 6 days out of the week, no quality of life. Hey, I'm gonna talk my shit, waking up whenever I want, step out, see happy, smiling people, eating healthy, having something fun to do, being around good vibes. Hey, I know you get some of those, Dre. Like, oh, you think you're hot, man.
And I got more YouTube videos made about me and Andrea, and people on Instagram, Facebook just talk crazy. But we know that it's basically stemmed out of a form or is rooted in jealousy. It's not like they ask a question or they give an actual fact. We know that a lot of it is rooted out of jealousy. And I won't lie. I'm gonna say something. If I was still stuck in the United States in 2024, I'd be jealous too. I won't even lie to you. After all I see with how people are treated in other countries, the foods, the connections of and how families are so close in South America, the water, how these countries are not just developed, but they are developing. The United States is trying to hold on, like Trump said, make America great again, meaning America at this point is trying to hold on to who it is. It's not a developing country. It feels it's developed, and we don't need to do no more, but hold on to what we got. To whereas in South America, these countries are developed, but they are considered developing countries as well. To where, give you a perfect example, you got Medellin, Colombia is going to be one of the first cities in the world with a super highway for drones. Just for drones. A highway where drones can go back and forth and deliver goods and items, whether it be for medical, whether it be Amazon package, whether it be whatever it is going to be a super highway for drones. You ain't got one of those in the United States. There are things that they have in Japan and China as far as the androids. You don't have those in the United States. So it's little things that make you feel like, if I was still stuck in the States, and I love, by the way, Chapapa and I just keep, before you guys get us wrong, we love the United States. That's our home country. Our country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. We love the United States. But when you leave the United States, you got to stop lying to yourself and be real. And if I was still in the United States, there is no way in hell I would not be jealous of Chapapa, Tailor Made Dreams, Ace Live, Check in Effect. I would be one jealous brother. But my jealousy would be to the point to where I would do something about it. I would not just watch Jabril Passport Heavy. I would not just watch I Am Marwa. I would not just watch Love Crossing Borders or Chapapa TV. My jealousy will push me to do something about it. I'd be like, I'd be damned if O'Shea Duke Jackson be the only brother going from Poland to Africa. Let me see what I can do to do that. So yes, if I was still stuck in the States, you damn right, I would be jealous of Chapapa too.
I'm not gonna lie. Some of the jealousy complaints have made me stop to be like, am I doing something wrong? Am I doing something wrong for living happier than most? Oh, you in a third world country. What is a third world country now? I don't think Colombia is one. Brazil for sure ain't.
Oh, Brazil's not. Colombia isn't. Third world, actually, the technical term of the third world country came out of World War II anyway. It had nothing to do with the economic structure of a country. It was World War II, and they just wanted to separate countries. The first world countries were considered the first two, Russia and United States. Then underneath there were any countries that are part of NATO. So if you're part of NATO, you were considered a second world country. Third world country is every other country on the planet. That's where the term third world country came from. First world, Russia and United States. Second world, where everybody that's NATO or anybody that had a almost like a, I don't want to say covenant, but a treaty agreement with Russia or the United States. Many of them were under NATO. And then they considered every other country in the world third world, including Japan. They considered China second world. Australia is considered second and third world. Southeast Asia, Korea, Vietnam, third world. Nigeria, considered second and third world. Canada is considered second world. Mexico is considered second, third world. Can you imagine how developed Canada is? You're going to tell Canada it's second and third world. You want to tell Japan, who has more technology than all of us put together, you want to tell Japan that it's second and third world. So when guys in the United States think of second and third world, they always want to talk about impoverished countries in Africa or impoverished countries in South America. And they want to consider all of us as, well, y'all can move down to those third world countries. And you and I walk around. I give a perfect example. I love it. I love getting these examples. Right around the corner is Price Mart. Price Mart is owned by Costco and Sam's Club. It's nothing but it's the same. If somebody blindfolded you, flew you to South America, and put you into Price Mart, you'd swear you were in Costco and Sam's Club. There is nothing different. Even people serving samples is the same thing. We got IKEA down here, just like the same IKEA setup that y'all got. We got the same IKEA. Home Center is nothing but Home Depot and Lowe's in the state, but the same products. I remember one time me and Andre were walking through Home Center, Chapapa, and I said, do you know that people in the United States think y'all live in the jungle? She said, what? I say, babe, they think South America is the jungle. She said, you lying. I said, nope. I'm looking around at the same store setups that I've seen when I went to Home Depot in the States in Home Center here in Colombia. You got Dollar Tree, the green building with the yellow letters. That same franchise is here in Colombia, and it's called Dollar City. Literally the same setup. Americans love to call other countries third world that they've never been to, that they've done no research on, and that in a lot of countries you want to be sincere, a lot of countries that they're jealous of, because Americans are being overcharged for the exact same product that you can get in another country at a fraction of the price. And I would be jealous of that too.
Overcharged and overworked.
Overcharged and overworked. I mean, wouldn't you be jealous of countries that have more vacation times than you? Just think about it. Colombia has 19 vacation days. Most of them fall on a Monday, so they get a 3-day weekend almost twice a month, except for 2 months, May and September. They get a 3-day weekend twice a month, every month. I would be jealous of that if I was American. I would be jealous if I had to overpay for medical. Overpay, including dental, glasses, not even major surgeries only. I know one brother came down here, one white dude I met. He was having coffee. I was having coffee. And I was like, where you from? He was like, I'm from Texas. I said, what brings you down here? And he said, I had cancer surgery. I said, wow, how you doing? He said, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I said, well, why'd you come to Cali, Colombia for your surgery? He said, well, first of all, the doctors are great here. He said, but secondly, my payment. I said, well, what'd you pay? If you don't mind me asking. And he said, if I'd have paid in the States for my cancer surgery with insurance, I would have had to pay $12,000 to $15,000 out of pocket. I say, well, do you have insurance here in Colombia? He said, no. I said, well, how much you pay out of pocket here for everything? He said for my nurses that took care of me afterwards. He said my medical hotel, because down here in Colombia, they have medical hotels that take care of you after surgery. They have nurses and nursing aides that actually work in the hotel until you get ready to fly home. He said, and my medication, including the surgery, $1,200 out of pocket for cancer surgery. $1,200 and this man beat cancer. And you know what the crazy part is? I had heard about a white dude in Medellin did the exact same thing. So I knew that he wasn't lying because I heard about the dude Medellin story about 3 to 4 years before I met this one guy at the coffee shop.
Everything, the States is third world when it comes to quality of life.
Oh yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
There I can see the jealousy. Here in Brazil, people get a month off every year, paid from work. The job's like, hey, you gotta take your month off, don't show up. You gotta get paid. Do whatever you want. We know what the national averages are in places like Colombia and Brazil. The highest somebody can get paid here is maybe a little bit over $400 a month.
Yep.
But live way happier than somebody bringing in 70K, 80K, 90K. You hear those now. That doesn't amount to nothing in the States. People are barely making it on 100K.
In the United States, 25% of all. No, it is. No, it's not. 40% of all individuals that make $100,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. 25% of all people that make $250,000 in the United States are living paycheck to paycheck. I'll say that again. $250,000 a year. 25% of them are living paycheck to paycheck. The fastest, and I saw this interview of the marketing CEO for Walmart, and this was like right before Black Friday, like 2 or 3 years ago. I didn't know this. He said our fastest growing customer base are multimillionaires. He said our fastest growing people that buy our products online and offline as Walmart, from Walmart, are millionaires, the fastest growing group. And then I just finished watching a special on Netflix called Quarterbacks, right? And they went through the year of the life of Patrick Mahomes, Marcus Mariota, and Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins, big multi-million-dollar contract. And his wife says, I go buy his plaid shirts from Target and Walmart. I have no problem with doing that. So what the CEO was saying 2 or 3 years ago is just an example of what Kirk Cousins' wife is doing. She said, why blow our money when I could just buy his plaid shirts at Target or Walmart? I don't know what Americans get this myth that we are all balling in the United States when statistics show that many of us are struggling. The average female in the United States still only makes $38,000 a year. Where are these boss bees from? I'm a boss bee. Less than 10%, and I think it's less than that, of all women in the United States make $100,000 a year. And for those that have big money, because they just said this in the United States, here's the kicker, Chapapa. Women have passed up men in the United States for home ownership. But check out how they got the money. They got the money by way of divorces, or the husband died and left them the house. Those are the two ways that women get it, through alimony or by they got that house in a divorce, or they got a chunk of money and they had enough money after the divorce to buy a home, or they were married to a guy and after 25 years of marriage, he died and left her the house. But most women in the United States are not stacking it like that. And I'm gonna buy me two or three condos. No, and you can look all this up. Anything that I say on here, I promise you can look these stats up. Number one way women in the United States get their come up, become millionaires. That was the article. The number one way women in the United States become millionaires are by inheritance and divorce. Not because they went to college, not because they got all these degrees, not because they worth 100,000. Do not fall for that falsehood. Statistically, it's not true. It's not that many women making over 100,000. Why do you think they're always begging you for 100,000? Shout out to JoJo.
In comparison, right? You brought up the divorce and inheritance thing. In comparison between the two Americas, would you say marriage is more of a scam there than as you would find in South America?
Yeah, it is. I think in both countries, there's a loving side of marriage and there's a business side to marriage. And for those that only look for marriage or you're looking for a spouse in Brazil because you're in love, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're supposed to look for somebody that is a person that can handle business in the house, not a partner like women in the States say, but a person that can handle the household as well as somebody that you love. I don't want to love somebody that don't know how to handle the household. But when it comes to the laws, like I always say, the 3 reasons why a person should relocate outside the United States: lifestyle, laws, and then love, or the ladies. And the reason why I say that is because lifestyle can fall up under, your money is worth more, or you can buy property or whatever it may be. But when it comes to marriage, remember this: in South America, everybody focuses on, most people focus on the family dynamic. So it's not just you got married and it's just you and your boo. But in South America, you marry into a whole family. And there's another myth that's out there. I'm glad that you brought that up, Chapapa. The myth of the South American family. If you marry her, you're going to have to pay for this, pay for that, pay for this, pay for this, pay for that, pay for this. When I was back in the States and my family was begging for this, begging for that, begging for this, begging for that, begging for this. Anyway, you do know that. A. B. When you're part of a family dynamic, you know how many times Andre's family has done things for me? These people literally, since I've been here, literally have saved me $15,000 to $20,000 with all of the connections and the hookups and the help and if something happens to the truck. Andrea's brother just graduated with his bachelor's degree, and he got hired to be one of the head mechanics with Chevy. Well, guess what we own? A Chevy. Anytime something happens to our car, you know how much money we save because all we got to do is, Camilo, what you doing? Come on over. So in the United States, they will sell you that you helping the family. But at the end of the day, the family helps us with, you know what, y'all about to buy a house? We got a real estate broker that we've been working with our family for years, so we're going to introduce you to him, Andre. Oh, you don't know where to go to get the groceries, Andre? Don't worry. I'll show you where, these fruit markets and these other markets to get the freshest of fish that just got delivered, delivered last night. They caught them the night before. We'll show you where to go to get this fish. You know how many times I got hooked up with the family? Chop. I remember we got a small fender bender. Bro, it wasn't nothing major. Nothing major at all. Do you know about 5 or 6 of Andre family members pulled up on motorcycles? Man, you'd have thought we was laid out on the ground up and the car was upside down. I have never in my life in the States have one family member barely show up to pick me up from the airport, other than my Uncle Jeffrey. Barely show up to pick me up from the airport. At least long show up if I get in a small fender bender. I mean, it was nothing major, small little bump. Got it taken care of. But the family just showed up. So when people sit back and create this myth about South American families using you, and you barely know Portuguese at that time period, you guys, or you barely know Spanish, or you barely know Italian, man, listen, I promise you're going to lean on that family way more than that family leans on you if you got a quality family. Just like you do with your friends. You may not married to somebody, but you may go to Brazil and you may have a network of friends that you lean on more on them than they lean on you.
What's something you would tell somebody now who's on the losing side of this battle? And when I say the losing side, it's like you said earlier, if you're still depending on living in the States in 2024, that's the issue. When you have your options, if the only thing holding you back is, all right, let me find a remote job, maybe cut my salary by $1,000 or so. What's a piece of advice that you could give us, right? Because the States is a losing battle right now. Not just talking about inflation. We're talking about all the political stuff going on. We're talking about the violence. We're talking about the food. We're talking about the government. Because we can be honest, what we mentioned with just the food alone earlier, government doesn't care. Yeah. You have no quality of life. if you're there and you're dependent on living there, you're in a losing battle compared to the happy expats in South America, the happy expats in Africa, in Asia. You're losing worldwide. It's us against the world. No, it's legit US against the world, and you're losing.
True.
What is something you could say to like try to lessen the number of losers right now, of people losing?
Okay. The advice that I would give a person is this. If you decide to stay in the United States, don't worry, it's the norm. We expect you to. 68% of Americans, according to stats, actually it was 72%, but now it's 62% of all Americans will live and die within a 50-mile radius of the hospital in which you were born in. Meaning, if you were born in Philadelphia, you have a 68% chance that you probably die in Philadelphia. If you were born in Kansas City, you got a 68% chance that you'll probably pass on in Philadelphia. Most people don't move anywhere. And if they do move, it's usually for jobs or for love. But other than that, most Americans aren't going anywhere, even in their own country. So if you don't leave the United States, don't feel like, you're doing something wrong. You're not. You're doing what everybody else, for the most part, will do anyway. Now, for those that are on the cusp or you're in a fork in the road, is Chapapa overselling it? Is it for real like that? Is Andre overselling it, or is it real like that? You can do one simple thing that we did. Prove us wrong. Flights are only $300. I know you can come up with $300 for 2025 and take your first flight to some part of Colombia. Some of you live in parts of the world, or parts of the United States, where you could drive to Mexico. Not the Mexico that they try to show you, the desert part that they try to show you, or the part that's right outside of Texas where immigrants are coming in Mexico. I mean, no, real developed everyday highways, byways that looks just like the United States. They got Walmart, everything else. That Mexico. The real cities of Mexico. You can just drive to some of those or fly inexpensively. Prove us wrong. And while you're proving us wrong, prove yourself correct. See if, you know what? I'm glad I made this decision to fly out here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to do your first flight, because if you don't, all the talking that you're doing from that other side of the fence, it means nothing. The last thing is, if it's really on your heart, don't waste your time. Life is going by. Some of you guys are 51, 43, 37. You're not Austin Holloman's age. You're not Chapapa age. You don't have years like that to spare. I used to work in a nursing home, Chop, and in a nursing home, I discovered there was two people that lived in a nursing home. Old people and regret. And there was more regret living in a nursing home. Those old people had so many stories to tell of what they regretted in life. There was more regret living in a nursing home than old people. Don't be one of those people. So, but if you plan on not moving to outside the United States, like I said, don't. Actually, me, Chapapa, I want those people that's like this, in all sincerity. We don't want you to move. Hell no. We need your tax paying butt stay right there like a worker bee is supposed to do. Stay right there. Don't move. Marry. Keep on getting those women in the United States pregnant. Keep on paying that child support. Get married. Divorce 51% of the time. Paying that alimony. We need the machine to keep on rolling. You ain't supposed to be getting none of these tax benefits that we get. No. Healthy foods. No. Good relationships and the gorgeous women. No. Traditional women that'll take care of you and be there for you. No. We need and want you to keep your happy butt right where you belong, in the good old USA. So our passports will be strong, our currency will be strong, taxes will be strong, the military will stay strong, not because of us mere mortal expats, but because of all you worker bees. So for me to sit here and lie and say, I want all you guys to come, oh, the hell I don't. No. We want you to stay right there. Tomorrow morning is Wednesday. You need to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, like Chapapa said, drive 45 minutes through that traffic, do your job, get your 45 minutes, half an hour or hour break, do some more of your job, and get home about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening. And we need you to do us one other favor. Get up on Thursday morning, Friday morning, even Saturday morning, and do it all over again. That's what we want you to do. We do not want you to use your passports and build a whole new life if you don't want to.
But Dre, you go down to South America where it's so easy and things are cheap, and you have all, and then the women there, you know, they don't argue. You know, why you scared of a tough? Why are you scared of a tough woman, Dre? You know, why are you scared of some talking back or doing things yourself? Why you want traditional? Why you gotta go there and take advantage of the people?
We can't handle the real women's in the United States. That's why we left. We cowered. We wasn't getting no sex. We wasn't getting no intimacy. No women would talk to us. We were too bashful. We were being used and scammed by women in the United States. Now, people in the United States will say anything to make themselves get over the guilt or the jealousy that they have of people that don't live in the United States. It's easy to put on blinders and just talk crazy. Most Americans don't go anywhere. Like I said, most Americans won't even. People in Kansas City can't even tell you what it's like to be in St. Louis, and that's right across the bridge. You got people in Louisville, Kentucky, can't tell you anything about Cincinnati, and that's right across the bridge. Cincinnati, Ohio. So they dang sure can't tell you what it's like to be across an ocean. And so all they do is go by what they saw on social media or what their mama and their uncles and cousins them grew up saying. It ain't true. And so they try to shun and put down women in other countries. And here's the problem now. Women in other countries are fighting back. And now they put out YouTube videos letting y'all know you don't know what the hell you're talking about when it comes to these women in other countries.
I was going to say that.
So, yeah, it's one of those situations where, like, it is what it is. You just, like I said, I'm probably at that point, Chop, in all sincerity. I'm just happy with enjoying the benefits of living in another country. I'm done with convincing dudes. My job is to be there for guys and ladies that want to do this. But for those that don't, I am not trying to convince you anymore. I'm done with that one. I tried that for 5 years and nobody really wanted to listen except for those people that really wanted to see what a new life in a new country was all about. But most Americans, they don't want to see that. No, they want to keep paying those high prices. Americans love to fuss and cuss. Think about it, Chop. To have a life that you no longer have to fuss and cuss, to have a life of peace, man, Americans ain't trained for none of that. We know we ain't trained for a life of peace. Traditional women that actually bring you a glass of water at least and cook you meals, give you intimacy and communicate with you. You ain't always got to have the television on to be with her. And we ain't used to nothing like that.
I think people get upset more of the idea that it actually works.
Yeah.
Like
go ahead.
How dare you find success outside the States? How dare you find traditional women and have a quality of life and your rent is cheap and you're happy and your skin is glowing? How dare you? You were supposed to leave, Andre, move to Colombia and fail. And fly back to the States with your tail between your legs. That's how it was supposed to go. How dare you have success?
So true. So true. It's still a Chop. It's still people 6 years later that's going to still be waiting for the ball to drop in our lives. They're still going to be waiting for that moment of, of I told you it wasn't gonna work. And I tell people this. I remember a young lady said this in a WhatsApp group I was in. She said, and I've heard several women say this before. When it don't work out, y'all be back. Y'all be right back here in the States with the rest of us. And I told them immediately, I said, listen, there are over 190 plus countries in the world. That means I got another 188 countries to hit before I take my butt back to the United States full time. That is not happening. You will see me in Spain before you see me back in the States. I will be in Brazil. I'll be in Peru. I'm all down in Argentina. I'm in Ecuador. I'm all in Mexico, El Salvador, Guatemala. I'm Southeast Asia, Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam. Long before you see me up in Ohio or the state of Washington or Texas. Long before you see me back in the States, man, I will hit every other country before. The United States will be my last of the last of the last. Man, listen. There are countries where, we really aren't allowed to go into, like the North Koreas. I got that. But other than them, United States ranks right there. I'm not trying to go back to the States. Hell no.
It's going to work somewhere.
Right. It's going to work somewhere, especially in the world today where everything is online and it's AI and there's so much opportunity for a person when they really want to buckle down and say, I really want to start creating a career online. There are online businesses that you can buy that are existing and successful today, just like you can buy into a franchise. There are very well-known online businesses. So for me to sit back and just, I might as well go on back to the States, and that's the only place I can make money is the United States. When I just got back from Europe, and the pound and the euro is just as strong as the dollar.
If not stronger.
You see what I'm saying? When we was in the grocery store using those euros, it wasn't like I was thinking like, wow, these prices, if I only had dollars. No, these euros were just as strong as the dollar was. And you're right, if not stronger. And the UK pound was just as strong. Listen, y'all, no, that's another myth, that if you don't make it in any other parts of the world, you got to go scampering back to the United States. I wished I would. I've seen too much, Chapapa. I've seen too much. They should have never let us get a passport.
Yeah.
We've seen too much now, experienced too much.
Hey, drop that song for them one time. I got my passport.
Oh, yeah, let's drop the passport song. I ain't dropped that one in a while. There we go.
Can't you see I got a passport? I got a passport.
Yeah, let's drop that one more time.
Can't you see I got a passport? I got a passport.
Yeah, I was just telling folks that my rent went down by $100 just for the dollar going up here.
Man, our rent during COVID, bruh, was we got the spot. It was $420. During COVID, because the dollar had gotten so strong, it went down to $280 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom in the suburbs. That included washer and dryer unit, also all utilities, Wi-Fi, and cable. Dropped all, and we lived in a lemon tree. Right next to us was a lemon tree park. We got a bigger place now, but right next to us was a lemon tree park, because the dollar had gotten at that time so strong that, and a lot of people don't realize that impacts your rent. Just imagine living in the States, you're paying $2,000 a month for a 1-bedroom, and you wish that the U.S. currency impacted your rent. You wish your rent went down to $1,800 just because the dollar got strong. Don't worry, you ain't gonna never experience that. Chapapa just said something you ain't gonna never experience in life.
If anything, your rent will go up.
your rent is going to go up. But ours, because when the dollar continues to get strong, our rent goes down. He's 100% correct.
Man, beautiful feeling to just go in and check. Because right now the dollar's at 5.6. I'm like,
The dollar's doing good. Yep.
never seen it like this before my entire time here. Highest I've seen was 5.2.
Wow. When I first came to Colombia, it was 1.7. It was 1.7. The dollar was 1.7 to 1. Now for Colombia, it's at like 4.3, 4.5. Let me see what it is right now. Let me see what it is today. Colombian pesos to the US dollar. Let's see. Oh, I can't use the microphone because I'm using the microphone with you. Right now, it is. Let us see. You've been hearing about the elections in Venezuela?
So, yeah, I got an email from Copa saying that they're stopping flights going there.
Man,
right
Venezuela.
now, yeah, I don't know. I haven't been tracking what's going on, but I'm guessing they didn't like the results of the election.
Yeah, they're going to recount the votes. Right now, it's 4-1. Right now, it's still 4-1 for the US dollar to Colombian pesos. We just filled up our gas tank. Let me cut the camera back on. Let me flip it to the next camera. We just filled up our gas tank, and we are paying. I don't think we've even, since I've been here, I haven't paid more than $2 a gallon.
Wow.
Since I've been here, I think I paid on average. I think I paid like $185 for the last 6 years. While the United States over there struggling. I think I'm coming back to that struggle. Shh, please.
Right, try somewhere else.
I told somebody this. I said I had a long talk with God, and if I were to die visiting the United States, me and God would have to have a long talk about my resurrection. Lord, I need for you to send me back. I am not trying to die there. No. Now, I know a lot of y'all like I'm red, white, and blue. This the other misconception of Chapapa. People actually are programmed to believe if you leave the United States that you're no longer an American citizen. The myth of it is, Chapapa can tell you this, you are treated far more American outside the United States than you do while you're in the United States, especially a person of color. I have never been an American citizen and treated as an American citizen a day and I mean that. I could backtrack this. One single day in my life while I was a black man in the States. We didn't have no American celebrations. You didn't feel like I'm red, white, and blue. None of that. When you leave the States, people remind you so much that you are an American and not just a black person that you all of a sudden just get the big chest. I am American, aren't I? You never feel like that in your home country. And now you go to every other country and they remind you not your color, but your nationality.
Drake, what's one thing before we close out you feel the need to show off for, be grateful for this year? We're a little bit more past the halfway point of the year. So what's one thing you're feeling very happy about being able to wake up in the other America?
Time. That is the number one thing that I feel more appreciative of anything. I appreciate my wife. I appreciate meeting you guys. I appreciate, the business that God has opened up for us. I appreciate all the places that we've gone to and the countries that we're going to visit. we're doing a South American tour this year instead of going to Europe or Southeast Asia.
Mhm.
But the number one thing that I am so appreciative of is now I have time. I've got time to do the things that are on my heart to do. I got time to oversleep and ain't got to worry about somebody saying you're fired. I've got time to write that great American novel. I've got time to sit back and say, I don't have to retire at 62 like everybody else and start collecting Social Security. I'll push it to 70 so I can get the max. I have time to invest and not just keep up with the Joneses. In other words, I have money that I put in crypto and 401ks because that money is not going towards Gucci belts. Because in South America, they'll look at you like that's nice, but you ain't gonna get the Gucci no faster because you got a Gucci belt. In anything in South America, she may not want to be with you because you look like a target, Mr. Gucci belt. Because when they rob you, guess who else they gonna rob? Her. So she like, oh yeah, you gonna have to cut down that being flashy player.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing, like I said, when it comes to time, man, it will amaze you how, for example, my uncle Ghostface, he's been here for a week tomorrow, and we were talking about time. He was like, dude, I keep forgetting the days. I say, Jeff, I've been here 6 years, and I've yet to keep up the days because you're doing so many amazing things. Amazing Wednesday is equal to amazing Saturday. So your Saturday's amazement is just as amazing as a Thursday. Your Thursday amazement is just as amazing as a Monday. And so it's those little things that you sit back and you look at. As you can tell, yes, I do have the 2 cameras. So you sit back and you realize, like, wow, I really am blessed to the point where I can actually celebrate a Wednesday like I do a Friday. There is no TGIF for me anymore. It's TGIM for Monday, TGIT for Tuesday and Thursday, TGIW for Wednesday, TGIS for Sunday or Saturday. To where you guys, when it comes to your time, you still have to live the life of TGIF. That's the one thing. If I could get you guys to realize, if you're going to get anything of value of relocating or even traveling to other countries, you'll realize how beautiful time is and how precious it is, and how you'll be able to celebrate it in ways that you never thought you'd be able to celebrate your time.
Man, this is gonna sound confused, but for me, this year I felt time has been slow, while all around me things are just speeding up.
Yeah. Yep.
Because you're in such a bubble where you're able to control everything going around you. You're happy. You're not in no rush. You're not antsy to get through the day. You're literally doing whatever you want, however you do it, when you want to, and you just lose track of the time.
Yep.
So I have to agree with you that for me this year, being in South America, time is something I'm really appreciative of.
That is so true. So true. It is just amazing. It's just amazing.
Because I got up today, went to the gym, came home, played college football, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh shit, damn, it's time to check in with Dre.
And that's another thing that you don't miss. You know, a lot of guys think, you know, if I leave the United States, I'm gonna miss my college football, my pro football games, my favorite basketball games, hockey. No, you won't. I haven't missed one football game, one Super Bowl, one basketball, no NFL championships, NBA finals, none of that. I miss any of that. I get to see everything that you see. Your Netflix is my Netflix. You know, when a Deadpool dropped this week in the States, it dropped here also.
Mm-hmm. If not a day or two earlier.
Yeah, so a lot of times guys think that it's something that you're gonna be missing out on. like I say, I'll probably end with this. There are 4 F's that keep people in the United States. Your first one is your friends. You got friends, family, things like that to keep you in the United States. Number 2, finances. Finances is one of the things that keep people in the United States because they think that that's the only way that they can make money. Just like people that haven't left Detroit because they think that factory job that they work is the only job that they'll ever be able to have to make that type of money. So they stay in Detroit, work for Chrysler, Ford, or GM. Gotcha. So your finances. Number 3 is your family. Family will keep a person there, whether it be somebody you're in love with, whether it be just your family members that never taught you that there's a world beyond the world that you live in. But the most important one outside of friends, finances, family, number 4 is fears. Mm-hmm. Your fears will keep you right in the United States, just like your fears keep you from moving to another city when you know you should have moved to another city 5-10 years ago. Some of you dudes would rather struggle in Detroit than leave Detroit. Some of you would rather struggle in Tampa than leave Tampa. Some of you guys are living horrible lives in Chicago compared to the rest of the country, and yet you refuse to move out of Chicago. And one of it is fears. And fears is translated worries and or concerns. So a lot of times you guys are worried or overly concerned about something even before you even try it.
Let's get some questions in before we end this live stream. So JM says, to how many countries you fellas have traveled to? Why didn't y'all travel to many countries first and then decide which country to live in? In my opinion, it seems like a rushed decision if you haven't traveled to at least 50 countries. Well, I'll go first. Mm-hmm. For me, home is where I feel the best. So I don't have to travel to 50 countries to see if I get the same feeling 50 times. Like for me, when I first went to DR, at that moment in my life, DR was it. And then once that moment left, with my passport, I had the opportunity to go find another country. Went to Colombia for a little, thought Colombia was cool, but wasn't it. Hit up Brazil, thought Brazil was it, moved there. Like I said, a few years from now, at least in the next 5 years, I can see myself being in Brazil, but then I want to hit up Asia. And then I'll go explore Asia. How long will I stay in Japan? How long will I stay in Malaysia? Wherever. So it's not about, I'm going to go on a world tour and then I'm going to remember how the 13th country made me feel as opposed to the 45th one. Nah. You could go somewhere and resonate with that place immediately getting off the plane. Walking through the air. That's exactly what happened to me. Both countries I live in.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. For me, we've been to about 15. And one of the things that I tell people is you got to always have a bat cave. You always got to have a home. You always got to have a bat cave. Now, your bat cave might be the most boring most boring thing about being Batman. Bat cave was not in the exciting place. The league of the Hall of Justice for the Justice League was the exciting place. The bat cave was where business was taken care of. You got to have a place where business can be taken care of, and it does, especially if your place of business is not the United States. So yes, you could travel to a bunch of countries, but you want to at least find at least 1 or 2 countries that are stable enough to be your bat cave or like your Dexter's lab. So you can sit back and say, no matter what takes place, I have my furniture here, or or if you don't have furniture, most of my clothes here. I've got many friends in this particular part of the world or in this particular country. I have everything laid out, my foundation. So now let me spread out. Like Chapapa did. He did DR, and then he spread it out to check out what other countries were around, and he was eventually able to choose Brazil. Same thing I did here with Colombia. Came to Medellin first, lived in Medellin, and was like, let me see what else is out here. And then as I began to see what else is out here, that's when I discovered Cali, Colombia. But don't feel like you have to, don't do it like Austin. Austin is 25. Most of us aren't. I'll say it again. Austin Holloman is 25. Floyd and all the young guys, they can afford to burn time.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us over 30 can't afford to burn time going to 20, 30. Yes, I got 55 countries up under my belt, but you ain't got no home. How's that sound? I've been to 55 countries, 32 countries, 27 countries, and I don't have one home, including in the United States. That sounds foolish. So yes, find your 1 or 2 countries and find you a bat cave, a Dexter's Lab, a found. I don't care if it's an island like Belize. Find you a place where you can say, this is where my foundation is. Now let me venture off and see what the rest of the world has to offer. But like I said, don't do it like the young guys are doing it, because they've got time to burn like that. You don't.
Or the backpackers.
Yeah, that backpacker from country to country. No.
Don't try to be a 50-year-old backpacker.
Yeah. Even Forrest Gump knew that eventually to have a home. You telling me you ain't as smart as Forrest Gump?
Me personally, I'm heading out to DR this week for a few days, but I'm glad I can come back home to Brazil. Or when I go to Germany later on in the year. Shit, I'm glad I know, all right, in South America, there's my home, there's my bed, there's my clothes. I can go, recharge, have that stability, and then head out again.
I love how you put that. Recharge. Because traveling can have traveling out of a suitcase like Austin and all the other young dudes, that can have a toll on you because you never have any roots. Trees grow in 2 directions, gentlemen. Trees grow in 2 directions. Trees grow downward first into the ground where you don't see how large their roots are. And their roots can go 6, 7, 8, 10 blocks long, and you don't see that. But because of the strength of their roots, home country, because of the strength of their roots, a stable location, a tree is able to grow into the behemoth that you see, such as in Oregon, those giant oak trees. But those oak trees would have never had those, wouldn't be able to let you see how large those trees are if it wasn't that the fact that they have roots. Some of you guys aren't realizing that us traveling to other countries and having a home base, that's us having roots, something solidified in our home country. Now you can branch off like a tree in different directions. Why? You got roots in the ground. So never make the mistake of assuming that you could be just as strong and stable as a tree and you don't have any roots. Because we all know what happens to a tree without roots. It's going to fall over. Even Austin right now is looking for a home country because he's starting to realize, okay, this going from country to country. This is cool. I need a base. I need a bat cave.
Mm-hmm. Someplace you can just chill and kick it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about picking up a home country. It could be somewhere enjoyable. Your home country could be more fun than any of these other countries you're going to go visit.
Yes, absolutely. And even if you don't move to another country, this is another thing. Even if you don't move to another country full time, I have a saying called make the United States your second home. Let's say you don't want to fully move outside the United States. Let's say business is great for you. Make it your second home then. In other words, make the United States the place where you make money. Stack. You ain't dating nobody. You ain't going out to no clubs. Forget about them Gucci belts. Forget about the new LeBrons coming out. I don't care how old the new AIs are. You ain't blowing no money in the States. Your job is to make the United States your second home by treating it like it is a corporation. You ain't going out to no 4th of July celebrations. damn a Thanksgiving dinner. You stacking your money. And then whatever country you decide to be your real home, that's where you spend that money. So you stack in the United States, and then in Chapapa's case, your first hope is actually Brazil. And so that's where the proceeds are spent, because you get the bang for your buck in your home country. The United States, when you go back, once again, it's your second country. It's your second home. Whether you're going to be there 9 months and only be in Brazil 3 months, whether you're going to be in the United States 11 months, but you only go to Brazil 1 month out of the year. But that 1 month, that is your home. For 11 months, United States is your second home, because all you do in the United States is stack your money. You ain't spoiling no chicks. You ain't got no step kids you take care of. None of that. You stack it for 11 months. Or even if you do it for 6 months, 6 months in the United States, 6 months out. But for you guys to sit back and blow your money in the United States, knowing that you do not get a bang for your buck, and me and Chapapa can tell you, y'all getting robbed for everything without a gun. Those prices for the same products are too high. And some of y'all want to brag about it. You just doing that because you can use the American dollar. No, I'm doing that because I can use the American dollar wisely. You use the American dollar like I do. I use it wisely. And wisdom said, get the best bang for your buck. So that's how I would do it. United States would be my second home if I had to stay in the United States. I would not be treated like it's my first home. Hell, crazy.
You had to. The U.S. South should legit be those places where if you have to treat the States like your second home, it's legit just to reset your passport visa. If you don't have your residency situated to where you can stay more than 6 months in Colombia or Brazil or wherever, the U.S. is just a reset.
That's it. That's it. Stack your money, visit your family, see how everybody's doing, get the hell out. That's it. See homeboys, have some, and a lot of times, Chop, you're going to eventually become distant from the people that you're closest to. You're going to go back to the States. You're going to be like many of us, quiet in the church mouse. A lot of you dudes think you're going to go back to the States bragging and, yeah, I've been to these many countries. No, you won't. You'll go back to the United States and you'll act just like a dude that just got out of the jail. Quiet. Why? You can't relate to your family anymore. How many of y'all got family members that's been to 15 countries? Maybe 1 or 2. Most of our family members and our friends, our homeboys, that's our dudes from kindergarten, they can't relate to us anymore. So when you do go back to the States, you kind of like to yourself, aloof. Yeah, you playing spades with everybody else, but you kind of quiet because you like, because half of you are saying, what the hell am I doing here? Well, I'm visiting my family. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm visiting my family. But you can't even relate to your family anymore. So that's another thing that you're going to have to think about, the psychological part, that you are a completely different person than who you were prior to leaving the United States. You've grown. You've expanded your mind. You see what this whole planet is about, not just a mere city. And a lot of guys are scared of that they can't relate to their home country anymore.
Definitely unrelatable. But Dre, we're getting ready to close this live off.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely appreciate your insight. You popping through the channel. You know, for you guys that don't know, Dre and I have been doing this since 2021. Just the back and forth, the exchange of ideas. So, you know, it's always great to know that. And this is the thing where I was saying earlier tonight, I've made some great relationships leaving the States. I've met great people outside the States, to where you may think like, oh, you know, I'm gonna be alone, I'm gonna have to isolate myself. No, you'd be surprised the type of people. You'd be surprised the type of people you meet when you leave the States. The type of like-minded people.
True.
I would have never thought there was a guy like Dre in Colombia.
Same thing with me, with you guys in Brazil.
Never. So, one of the F's, the 4 F's that Dre said, the fear. Don't let that fear stop you, from doing the things that you're meant to do in your life. If you're deserving of that, for those of those who are negative or pookies, y'all can stay there. But if you're truly tired and you want to do something, you want to change your way of living, quality of life, you gotta get rid of that F. The main F is fear. Get rid of that. And everything else. Dre, any closing words?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, with the 4 F's, don't let fear, family, friends, or finances hold you back. If you are serious about at least trying to go visit another country, it's not as expensive as you think it is. Go visit a country, check it out, and I promise you, it will change your life.
Yes, sir. For those of you who don't know, you guys can head over to Love Crossing Borders TV. If you have any great interest in Colombia, not little, any great interest, you're ready to go down there, you're ready to move, retire, hit up Dre, do your consultations. If you need anything for Brazil, you can hit me up at Chapapa TV. But you're in good hands either way. And this has been a great stream. I appreciate all y'all for tuning in. To the next one.
All right, brother. That was great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. Thank you for your patience too.
Nah, no worries, bro. No worries. It was good to know Cali had a restaurant like that.
Yeah. Oh man, plenty of them. Plenty of them where you could just go to the mountaintop and look over the cities